Well, hello there. It is Thursday, January 5th, 2023. And here we are to discuss another episode of the Challenge 38, Ride or Dies, episode 13 tonight. This was another pretty wild episode, right? There's a lot going on. I'm excited about this. You guys?
Yeah. I didn't think it was wild, but I am excited to give it a chat.
I thought some wild stuff happened, no?
All right.
I mean, there's plenty to talk about.
Let's get into it. Let's start. There we go. All right.
Let's.
All right. I am John Dunphy, and I am joined, as always, by my Ride or Dies, Mr. Kyle Petty, and Miss Gina Morgino. It's good to see you both. Good to see you both, as always. We are Strat Chat. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. And we are Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. As Kyle likes to say, very presumptuous. We know. But, we're here to discuss some more challenge. I'm pretty excited. I know you. I thought last episode was definitely better, but this one was still pretty fun to me. But before we get into the fun stuff, I did want to just mention one bit of news, okay? Because he's not on the season this time, but he's still very well known. Someone that we have watched, many times on the show, and that is about Corey Wharton, and something that happened with his family this week. Corey's 7-month-old daughter Maya had open heart surgery yesterday. So I just wanted to take a moment to just send out some well wishes and good vibes. We haven't seen Corey much on. We love Corey. He's not on the season. We saw him briefly in a little video chat with Nelson last week, but I noticed that on Twitter, and I just felt like sending some good vibes out. So hopefully everything has gone well
vibes,
with Corey,
good vibes,
and little baby Maya. Yeah. All right. I do have one other bit of news unrelated to this episode, but related to the challenge, and that is CT is now on Cameo. So get your CT cameos. All right, he's on there. I think he's
Kyle's face.
I didn't know we were doing a CT commercial now. But okay, go on and get your cameos, I guess.
That's it. Those are the only two bits of news unrelated to the episode, but relating to the challenge that I had. All right. So let's get into this episode. So the first thing that I have regarding this episode is just that we had some drama in the kitchen. There was some stuff going on, right? First, Bananas brought up the Moriah burn vote to Fessy, which kind of set things off, and Fessy and Moriah went at it. Then we had Fessy confronting Jordan about how they had sort of made a deal. Jordan said he wouldn't say Fessy's name, and then did after, kind of what Tori did by going to Jordan, and kind of really, that was not a good move on Tori's part. And then, of course, more Torden drama. This felt like an exciting start to the episode of just like everybody in the kitchen watching people get into arguments and fights over these different things. So I kind of just enjoyed how the episode kicked off. I guess there's not really too much to say about it. Do you guys have any other thoughts on it? That's just kind of how we got started in this one. Everybody sort of coming back to the house, trying to pick up the pieces from the last elimination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it kind of kicked off the way we expected it to, in my opinion.
Right. I would assume nothing less if an elimination like that is how it went down,
Right.
And, absolutely.
It was so much of the same. Oh well.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Is anybody else ready for this season to end, though? Like, in all honesty, like, can we just get to the final? Like, I'm ready to wrap up because I feel like none of our drama is really new. I'm not trying to be a contrarian or anything here, but
no, absolutely.
I'm really getting worn down with the Tori and Jordan stuff.
Oh, I'm so over
Um,
it.
I was excited mildly by the Fessy and Moriah stuff. That has now worn out its welcome. So like, I don't know. This would have benefited from like a season length like Challenge USA or Australia or something. In my opinion. Just
Sure.
wanna throw that out. But yeah, those are
Yeah.
my initial thoughts. Not that you asked for them, but it is my
Of
opinion.
course, that's what
That's
we're
literally
here for.
what we're here to do.
I know. I just wanted to say it. Because usually you say any initial thoughts before we start this thing. It's like, no, I don't have any initial thoughts. I do tonight. And that's them. When's the final? All right. That's my thought.
I know.
When's the final?
No, I hear you. I'm
Yeah.
definitely enjoying the season, but I hear you. It feels like it's been a long season, but I do think it's been a good season. Like it feels forever, right? Like it feels forever since like Jack and Laurel left. Doesn't that almost feel like last season? Like,
That is true. That does feel like that wasn't even now. Yeah, no, it has been a good season. It's just it's time to wrap her up. It's like stop like circling the airport here. Like when are we gonna bring this baby in? You know?
Right. I think we're getting close, and I think that the players are also thinking we're getting close because I'm pretty sure it was Fessy in this episode that said, I think he said something to Moriah. Maybe not. Fessy said something to one of the other challengers, sort of along the lines of like, "Well, we only have a couple of daily challenges left, so the final's right around the corner." Like he made that comment, so we're getting there. We are getting there.
Yeah.
So other than the kitchen drama, the teams, each team had their own little meeting, kind of try to get on the same page. We did have a nice moment, I thought, between Nany and Casey, kind of just celebrating Nany's her mom's birthday. Her first birthday since she's passed away, and Nany and Casey kind of just spoke about her and released some balloons up into the air. But that was pretty much it outside of the daily challenge now coming into that. So this daily, I think when I say the episode was wild, I just really mean this daily challenge more than anything. It felt like there was a lot going on here.
Sure, I'll give you that.
Right. So
okay.
I guess let's just kind of go through those. There were 4 events. This looked like a full day long daily challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 4 events. This was called Blind Faith. So I guess we can kind of just go through each one. So we didn't really get much to go off of, in the very beginning. TJ would just sort of move a kind of little tile to the side, really, revealing some sort of symbol. The first one was a target. All right. And for this one, Jordan and Fessy decided that they wanted to go first. And Fessy really only decided he wanted to go because Jordan volunteered right away, because he wanted to go up against Jordan. Yes. And we all saw Fessy in that final in Double Agents, not able to get through that food challenge. And I'm sure it was a big regret for him when he realized that he wasn't just going for a target in this, but he also had to drink some kind of absolutely horrid looking concoction. There was a lot of throw up in this. What do you guys think of all the throw up?
One of the worst things I've ever watched in my entire life. I did not need to see people throwing up that much. I did not need to hear people throwing up that much. They just kept with the sound effects. And I was like, I get it. It's gross. Please stop.
I loved this.
I hated it so much.
Sorry,
no,
drinking,
so
eating terrible things, and puking all over the place is classic challenge. It's part of the reason I'm gathered here. I love it. I love to see people struggle. I especially love to see Fessy have a rough go here. Even though I have been a Fessy stan this season, I do enjoy when he has some difficulties with the eating. I just think it really knocked them down a peg.
That whole montage of them just retching. I was like, this is I'm gonna throw up. I'm not having fun.
Oh, it's enjoyable. It's very enjoyable. I also just as we review like the rest of this challenge, I think it would be interesting also to think of, do you think that production put the drinking part of this in there specifically because Fessy was involved? And do we think that could have been a component in any one of the other challenges? Just because it's just so well known that Fessy has such a rough go with the food and the eating part of this. And I wonder if that was just intentional to kind of make him be presented with this before the final.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't really put anything past the production of any of these shows. So
yeah. I wonder if it would be. Yeah, no, it's a good point, and because It's so perfect, the fact that Fessy chose the one that he had to drink this thing in. I just wonder how they would
Right.
work it into the other events, because this one was
Well,
like
that's
you
what I
miss a
wanted to think
target,
of
you
as we
take a
go.
drink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right. So
Yeah,
that
let's
was the
see.
first. That was the first event. They had to hit 3 targets. Yeah, hit 3 targets. If you miss one of the targets, you got to take a gross drink. If you hit the target, you're good. You can just keep shooting. Jordan and Fessy were missing all over the place. They could not hit a target for anything. There was a point though. Devin really stepped up and helped Jordan here. As soon as Devin started sort of coaching Jordan, Jordan was hitting the targets, much more easily. Jordan ended up getting all 3 of his targets. I think Fessy only had 1 by the time that Jordan finished. But this event was so brutal that Devin actually started helping Fessy. And Fessy's team was asking Devin to help, but even Jordan, who was well aware of how difficult this was and how disgusting that drink was, even Jordan, like the way he said it to Devin too, he was like, "Help him, help him." But this was a big deal. This was a very big moment in this challenge because Jordan finished so much faster than Fessy, but that by the time Fessy finished, they had, Moriah's team had almost a half an hour lead on Fessy's team. But we did hear Horacio saying that if it was up to him, he would not have been helping at that point. And even after this first event, I felt like, all right, how the hell is Fessy's team going to make up this much time? But what did you think about, Devin helping Fessy, helping the other team, Horacio's sort of feeling of like, maybe we shouldn't be helping these people yet? I mean, we can get into this a little bit more. I think it'll be relevant when we get to the last event also. So if we want to wait till that, we'd rather wait.
I think it was. I thought it was a really good sportsmanship thing, like to help Fessy. That was fine. Oh. I thought that was fine. Yeah. But I do want to know why Devin took so long to support Jordan. Okay, because we were 7 to 9 minutes into this, and after every miss, you're telling me this man was drinking and throwing up, and only after that much time did you now say, "Hey, you know what?" See, this is where, you're just standing in a circle saying, "You're a dog, you're a dog, you're a dog," doesn't cut it. If you really want to be a leader, you should have stepped in the second I started throwing up. I'm like, "What you doing? Is somebody going to help me? Like, what's happening? Like, don't you give a damn?" And this wasn't one of those challenges where like you helping me was now, and then them overhearing it was going to affect anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right. I don't know. Yeah. I thought that was a little weak.
Oh, it's an interesting point for sure. Tired of Devin. Oh man. Wow. Tired. Wow. All right. All righty. Well, so like we said, Jordan's time was about close to a half an hour better than Fessy's or so. But this daily challenge, it was the cumulative total of all the time in each event. That was the big deal here. So even though Fessy's team was down big, that didn't mean that they were out of it. So now that Jordan had won that first, event in the challenge, then we moved on to the second one. TJ reveals another symbol, and this time it's a puzzle piece. So in this one, we had Olivia and Anissa going against Devin and Nani. We know Devin considers himself, a puzzle king, right? So this was right away when he saw that puzzle piece, you could tell Devin was like raring to go. But in this one, this was a lot less eventful than the puking and the targets and all that. This was really just running back and forth, getting your puzzle pieces, and then putting a puzzle together. And Olivia and Anissa finished it first. They only really finished by a few minutes faster than Devin and Nani. So once they finished this event, Fessy's team was really still down by like 24 minutes or something like that. Like they really were still pretty far out of it. But I feel like they really started off with like a bang with the tar. I expected every one of the events to be like multifaceted. You have to do some task or eat something and then drink something, whatever it is. Like it was kind of just like that first one was like wild, and the second one was just like do this puzzle. I don't know.
I thought this one was pretty hard though. I mean,
yeah, it definitely looked hard.
Going back and forth and then having to remember like the background, the color of the background, and the actual object, and you're trying to
I think it gets a little clouded here because everybody was so good at it that it doesn't look as hard as it was, but they were all nailing it. But I don't think it was necessarily that much easier.
Yeah, I think I'd be pathetic at this. Absolutely pathetic. The second I would get back, I would forget what the person told me. I'd be like, wait, what did they say? What did they say? Because I have to imagine you're also seeing multiple of each thing. It's not like you're just seeing one. So like
Right.
I would get back there, remember one of them, like, oh shit, like what was this? Especially if you're trying to tell me like 4 or 5 at once, I'll forget it. It's gonna be all jumbled by the time
Right.
I get back. Running in that Argentinian heat. Oh, no.
Right. There was a point where Bananas and Tori, when they were trying to complete this, and I think at this point their opponents were already done, Horacio and Amber. But Bananas and Tori are standing there talking about just 3 pieces, and Bananas is like, oh, this one's the purple background with the green sword, this one's the orange background with the purple star, this one's the purple whatever with this, and I'm like, wait a minute,
gone.
Which one is the purple background?
Yeah.
But this is similar to what a challenge that we saw in the Challenge Australia. This one included the ice baths in the middle, which they didn't have to do here. So, another fairly familiar challenge to us. But in this one, Horacio and Amber took it. Bananas and Tori, their time kept running. So Fessy's team actually then was down even further by about 37 and a half minutes or so. Moriah's team was leading going into the very last event of this whole daily challenge. Oh, wait a minute. Did I skip something? Where are we?
I thought there were 4.
No, there were 4. But we talked about Olivia and Anissa. They won. That's right. Okay. I'm scrambling myself up with it's 4 events in one daily challenge. Okay. I thought I skipped something, but I did not. Okay. So the last symbol here was the light bulb. Okay. All right. No, now I'm screwing myself up again. The last symbol was the bungee. It was the bungee. So wait, I don't think I mentioned the 3rd symbol. So it was the target, then the puzzle piece. The one that Bananas and Tori, Horacio, and Amber did was the light bulb.
Yes.
That's where they had to run across the field. And then the last event was the bungee. Okay. Did I like go out of order or skip things? This feels weird to me. I feel like whatever.
No, we were talking about the puzzle one, and then you brought up Bananas, and I think that's what screwed you up. But we're good.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
I apologize. Because it felt like it was 2 puzzles back to back, and then I got all screwed up. I apologize. But anyway, so just to refresh, the first one, Jordan beat Fessy. The second one, Olivia and Anissa beat Devin and Nani. And then we went to the light bulb one, where Bananas and Tori did not do very well. Horacio and Amber won that one, and Fessy's team was down by 37 minutes. Okay. Now we got to the last symbol, which was the bungee.
Get back.
Wow, I'm sorry. That is just okay. So this ended up being Chauncey and Casey for Fessy's team, and Jordan now had to play again because of Moriah's team being down people, and Jordan and Moriah did this one. So in this one, both partners competing in the event were attached to this bungee cord. One of them would have to go forward, grab onto this bar on this metal contraption, and then the other one would have to try to meet them at this contraption and grab onto the same bar. But the problem is that once your partner gets to this bar and is holding on, it becomes incredibly difficult for you to keep moving through the sand to get to this bar. And we saw both teams struggling big time here. It looked like at one point, Chauncey and Casey kind of changed up their strategy, though, and they both tried to sort of run forward together, like to get as far as they could, and then Casey kept moving forward to grab the bar, which like kind of helped Chauncey then kind of grab her foot and just sort of keep moving up forward and grab the bar. So they finished this. They did really well in this, Chauncey and Casey, to give their team a chance to win. But that big lead, almost 40 minutes that Moriah's team had, it just began to evaporate because either Jordan would grab the bar for Moriah's team and then Moriah couldn't make it to the bar, or Moriah would grab the bar and then she couldn't hold on as Jordan kept moving closer and closer, and they actually timed out. So going into this last event, what ended up being a 37-38 minute lead for Moriah's team completely evaporated, and Fessy's team won, which meant that, of course, all 3 women on Moriah's team would now be in danger and would have to go to interrogation.
And that's why, like, I get why they were helping Fessy out in that first challenge, but like, you don't know what you're gonna get, and that's why it's kind of like, yeah, you feel for the guy and you want to help him out, but like that cost them the win. if they just kept letting him go for however long it would have taken, they never would have been able to make that time up.
Right. Yeah. It was good sportsmanship and not a smart move.
Mhm.
I also think we should not gloss over the amazing, amazing accomplishments of Casey and who is the other female in this one?
Casey and Moriah in that last one.
In that last one? Yeah.
That
Well,
last one.
Moriah did have some difficulties, but Casey held on despite the fact that this other man was pulling on her. Like she had to now support all of this as if it wasn't hard enough for her already with the fact that the whole bungee thing was going on, like she wasn't being tugged herself. Now a grown man is tugged. Got to maintain this for the, like that's a lot. Kudos to Casey. I mean, obviously this is why Moriah
hell yeah.
flarned, but like I don't begrudge her for this. She really that's a lot to put on one person.
No, that was tough.
So,
yeah.
So
And
big ups
Casey,
to our ladies.
Yeah.
Big ups to our ladies for holding it down.
Yeah. Casey made a funny comment at one point. She was
like, doing it for themselves.
Oh my god. Sure.
You're welcome. All the women who are independent.
Mm-hmm.
Throw your hands up at me. What do you want? What do you want? You didn't like the sisters thing.
I didn't say I didn't like it.
Now, Casey actually did make a funny comment here at one point. She was like, I'm grabbing this bar and that's pulling me forward. And then Chauncey's pulling me backwards. I'm being pulled in two different directions here and we have to do something. It was very,
yes.
I really felt for her there. I did.
It was good. It was good.
But man, I honestly never expected Fessy's team to be able to come back here. It just felt like they were down so far. I felt like with Jordan, especially with Jordan in there with Moriah, I felt like he would come up with some strategy to just make it work for them. But man, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. They timed out. But all right. So the next thing that we have is the interrogation. The interrogation, which was pretty straightforward. I mean, there's only three people. Yeah, there were only three people that they could interrogate. The first one they spoke to was Nani. And I mean, we knew Nani was never going to be the direct vote. She's got friends on Fessy's team. She's got, friends on Mariah's team. Everybody loves Nani.
She's Nani.
Yeah, exactly. But Nani made the pitch that, hey, there's one rookie up there and she hasn't been to elimination yet. So, that was the pitch there. Amber came in next, had basically the same pitch. And I love that she called them all out like, hey, which of you came in here as a rookie and never had to go to elimination, never had to prove themselves. So it was the same sort of pitch from Amber and Nani that, Moriah really should be the one to go in. She's a rookie. She hasn't seen elimination yet. And hey, we went to the zone and that's what we got. We got Moriah as the direct vote. Yeah.
I do have to say though, because even in Mariah's deliberation with them, like, I'm not a Fessy stan, but she screwed him last episode. And it's wild to me that she can't understand why he might be upset about that.
Right.
Like she kept being like, I've done everything for him. It's like, yeah, but you also almost cost him the game.
Right.
Like,
it's
why
very
are you
clear
not
that I'm
seeing...
only good when it's something good for his game, but nothing for my game. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like
I don't like the guy, but you're wrong. Like,
right. And what have you done for his game? What did Moriah do? What is she talking about?
Well,
she was really throwing me this episode. I was like, what have I missed?
Let's not be too mean to Queen Moriah, okay?
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm asking actual questions, and you're just looking at me. So because you think she's the queen, like, tell me, what is it that she keeps saying that, like, I've done so much for Fessy's game? I am truly asking. I'll change my tone if I'm proven wrong. Just prove me wrong. Like, what did she do other than be his partner?
Let me think about it a little bit.
There it is. There it is.
Tells us a lot. Silence speaks volumes.
Oh my God.
I don't know. There are definitely things. There's just too many that like I can't. Right
Oh,
now.
so we'll
Right
circle
now,
back
yeah.
next week. We'll circle back.
Yeah, we'll circle back. Exactly. We'll circle
Mark
back.
this down. Gina, make this a clip. It's around
Oh,
25 minutes.
I'm already on it. I'm already
mark
on
this
it.
down. We expect a list now. Okay, don't you be coming here with like 1, 2 things. Like, oh, she has nice makeup. She has good thighs. No, I want a list.
She has good thighs.
That's the best I got. I don't know. She went into elimination, and well, you'll tell us about it. But I don't see anything redeeming going on here. Put together a bad team.
Oh boy!
Failed deliberations with her supposed ride or die.
Listen. I feel like you were the one that was like. I feel like you were the one that was like. I feel like Mariah's team is pretty good. Everybody's saying that Fessy's team is so much better. You were standing up for Mariah's team.
I was standing up for Mariah's team when it was.
But now you said it's a bad team.
I was standing up for Mariah's team when it had not been tested. Okay, they kept going in, they kept losing. Well, I was proven wrong, and here I am now saying it's up. If anything, you just proved me more correct.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. Mariah was a flop. She was a flop. I'm sorry.
Woof.
Wow. No, you know what? Actually, so very quickly, something else that was just interesting to me about this this vote was just the fact, and it really is not a big deal in the scheme of the game, but just the fact that so you had, because it's kind of a weird twist, right? You came in with your ride or die, and now no one is paired up with their ride or die, right? Mm-hmm. And on Fessy's team in this elimination, you had Chauncey and Casey having to cast votes. And two of the people that were eligible for elimination in the zone were Nany and Casey. So it was just like kind of interesting to me, and like shows how much emotion is probably in this game for these challengers, because you have Casey up there has to worry about Nany, and then you have Chauncey up there have to worry about Amber. So it's like two players that have to worry about like their ride or dies, but also their significant others. You know what I mean? It was just, I feel like it adds a whole other emotional element to the game that like is part of the reason that I really have loved this season.
But you know what else I did think about? What was interesting though about the Moriah vote is the fact that Fessy voted for Nany. I thought that was interesting that he didn't vote for Amber in that situation, because I feel like that's kind of a sting to Casey and what Fessy and Casey's relationship is supposed to be. No, he returns the sentiment with a vote for Moriah and still not Amber. And I wonder if there was something going on there.
Because I feel like I remember him having an issue with Amber the last time they played together,
Definitely.
right?
Yes, absolutely.
And even this season.
Yeah, even this season. I do believe that they had worked together. There was something that had kind of given them some kind of good feelings. But I still think the majority of this was negative. But do we not think it's interesting that you chose to vote for Nany, who's supposed to be one of your best friends outside of this game, who is a significant other of that best friend, and then
right, like I would think that if Nany or Moriah weren't in the game, that Fessy and Casey would have been ride or dies. Like that's the relationship that I think of them to have.
Exactly. And I think that that's really strange. And then Casey then voting for Moriah, because Casey has not usually worked with Amber either, even though she came from Big Brother. Like Casey has not really been cool with Amber. She said in other seasons that she didn't trust her either, which I don't know where that comes from, but I don't know how that got glossed over. Like that was an interesting vote to me.
Fessy had made a comment also when they were casting votes. I don't know if you heard this. He said, I'm going to try to build a little trust with Amber, and I'm voting Nany. Yeah, and that was like something that he said
on what we hope is finale Eve. I just
honestly
feels like
it makes me feel like though there could be more to it, but it also makes me feel like this might have been one of the first times that a team came into elimination sort of knowing where the votes were. So it was like Fessy just saying, well, I'm going to vote for Nany because it doesn't really make a difference. Mariah's my ride or die. Me and Amber have been going at it. So like to try to build some trust, like symbolically, I won't say her name. You know what I mean? And then Casey, obviously she's not going to say Nany's name. But I feel like, maybe she just feels closer to Amber than Moriah. I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like there could certainly be more to it, but I feel like it also could just be like everybody knows we're voting. We know we have 4 votes on Moriah, so whoever the 3 of you want to vote, whatever. Bananas didn't want to vote for Nany or Moriah because he's been hooking up with Moriah. So you know what I mean. So like, I feel like when they probably all talked about where they wanted to vote, maybe they just felt like, all right, well, I don't know. You're still putting trust in your team then, though, because if the first 2 votes out of the gate were Nany, so you still on that team have to put a lot of trust in the rest of the people that are now going to vote that they're not going to say Nany's name. Right. So, but very interesting. All right. So this took us to the draw. Moriah was the direct vote. This took us to the draw. This time we had only Nany and Amber pulling daggers, and there were only 2 daggers to pull, which meant that you now had a 50-50 shot of either going into elimination or avoiding it. And Amber was the one to pull the first dagger. And she pulled the safe dagger. After much hesitation and nervousness, she finally pulled the dagger and pulled the safe dagger. So this meant, of course, it was going to be Nany and Moriah in elimination. And this was called I Can See You, which was kind of like a word scramble, So basically, Moriah and Nany were on 2 opposite ends of the zone. And in the middle of the zone, there was this large structure. And, Moriah and Nany each had a different side of it. And there was this wall. Now, on one end, Moriah and Nany were attached to this rope or this bungee, similar, I guess, to the bungee event that they did in the Daily Challenge. And they would have to dig through the sand to move forward. And as they moved further and further forward, the wall that was in front of them would lift up and reveal 6 words, 6 scrambled words. Okay. So they had to go one at a time. And as you moved further and further forward to reveal more words behind the wall, it got harder and harder because the tension that was pulling you backwards would get stronger and stronger, Now, TJ did mention something prior to the start of this, that when you finished all your words, you couldn't just say check. You had to hit a buzzer. You had to hit a button. Okay. So that's important to note as we move forward. Now, we did also have a lovely appearance from TJ's Ride or Die, the lovely Mrs. Roxanne Lavin. What did you think of this whole, bringing out TJ's wife? Have we ever seen TJ's wife before on the show? I don't think so, right? Roxanne?
Not to my knowledge.
Were you a fan of Roxanne's appearance, Kyle?
Of course I wasn't. Of course I wasn't.
I just don't understand the purpose. Why was she? I thought when they introduced her, I was like, oh, she's going to be a part of this competition. But she was just standing there and watching, contributing. The only thing that it made me laugh so hard. You saw him lean over and was whispering strategy to her, but he literally was like, hey, see what Mariah's doing? She sucks. And that was the only reason that
it's a terrible strategy.
What is happening here? Why are we doing this?
I thought it was very random. I don't understand what the point of that was.
There was
challenge rider dies,
but I thought she was gonna be a part of something. He was like, and she's gonna watch. She didn't contribute.
Right. I would have been more. I don't know. I'm not objecting to her appearance, but then she could have hosted the challenge.
Right. Use her. Yeah.
Yeah. He had 4 different parts of this daily challenge. She couldn't have just done one. Just let her call something. You want to put her in? Put her in.
It was.
Hi, I'm just going to be here to watch. Oh, great. Roxanne's here. And she goes, all right, you guys, you ladies killed it. Bye-bye. You don't even know what their names are.
So weird.
It's very strange. Very strange.
I enjoyed it. All right, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah. Thanks for swinging by, Roxanne. I mean, are you ever coming back? What was the whatever?
Maybe she's gonna host. Maybe she's gonna host something. Who knows? We'll see.
Well, then they should have told us that. Then.
But also, then just bring her in. Then, I don't know why.
Or just tell we'd like to introduce her. She's going to be part of the challenge family.
You're going to be seeing more of her. Yeah.
Yeah, I could have even accepted that. She's just here to watch. She wasn't even here during the day. She only came for the elimination. And I know you don't know who Moriah is. This was her rookie season. It's not exciting to you. So what do you care? You don't know anything about her. Whack.
Maybe she's a big Moriah fan, you know?
Yeah, you and her.
All right. But anyway, so this was a pretty exciting matchup to watch. I thought it was pretty close the whole time.
It was an awesome challenge too. It was really fun. It was fun to watch.
Crazy close the whole time.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I like this one. I hope we see it again.
I agree. I totally agree. Each word that they had to unscramble had to do something with this ride or die theme. There was like a unite, there was an allies, there was a companion, a friendship. Those were the words that they were unscrambling. And they both did pretty well. They got down to their very last word. They were on their last word trying to finish spelling that. And they both pretty much yelled check like at the same time. And I loved TJ just going, hit the button.
Because they both forgot to hit the button because they were both like, no, I said it first. I was like, well, neither of you said it first because no one hit the fucking button. Like, what?
Yeah, it doesn't matter who said it first. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And from what we saw, it looked like Moriah hit that button first, and she was yelling, check those cameras, check those cameras. But we quickly learned after the commercial break,
the cameras
it would not be necessary to really check the cameras for the timing because Moriah had spelled the word devotion incorrectly.
Yeah.
Which meant
she
was the loser.
Yeah.
That would haunt me forever.
I know.
Especially because she knows how to spell it. It just that
it's just like the pressure.
Yeah, and you're rushing. Yeah.
Because even she looked at it and immediately was like, "Oh, I messed up.
Yeah,
it's wrong."
God.
Yeah. I was happy to see Nani get the win though. Nani wins the elimination. Moriah loses and is eliminated, but not really. So.
Which again, I know it's going to be what you said, and I'm so sad about it, but the way that he words it, like he says, what is it that he says?
You live and die by your ride or die.
No, it's that, but then he also said, like, he doesn't say if your ride or die doesn't get eliminated. He says if your ride or die stays in the game, you have a chance to come back into the game. That to me sounds like a battle back. The way he words it sounds like a battle back. And I know it's not going to be, and I know I'm going to be disappointed. But I really want it to be. Kyle, what is happening to you over there?
I'm swimming my mouth now.
I think he's pretty much just saying it straightforward, though. He's basically saying if your partner's in the game, you have a chance, which means if your partner's not in the game, you don't have a chance. You know what I mean? Like.
I know. It's just the way that he words it to me implies that like you have the opportunity to win your way back into the game. I know that's not what it's gonna be, but it would be really great.
I just think you're too hopeful. That's all.
I know.
I
don't even know why you are. You come from an environment of so many flop twists.
I know, and every time
I don't even know why you have an expectation.
Every time I'm like, this one could be different though, and it never is, and I'm always disappointed. But every time I'm like, no, they'll get it right this time.
No, in this house we do flops.
I know.
Yeah.
Coin of destiny. Destiny.
God.
The coin of destiny.
Boo.
But yeah, so Moriah's team has lost their captain. They're just team. That's it. So
and whatever color they're assigned that week. Since
it seems like
every single time.
It seems like lately the last couple they've stayed with pink and yellow.
Have they?
I started to ignore the colors. I've just been saying Fessy or Moriah.
Yeah. I've never even noticed there were colors, to be honest.
I remember there was green and orange or something at one point.
Right.
I
in
never
the spin
noticed.
class challenge.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
It was very annoying.
Yeah.
Very annoying. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this this episode. There's a couple of things I'm looking forward to in the next on, but
I hope it's finale.
You guys have. I know. I mean, we'll find out. It looks.
I hope.
I feel like there's too many people.
There are still a lot of people, but I don't know. Something might be going down. So here's what I have for the next on. So the daily challenge looks like we're doing some heights. Looks like they're attached to the top of the side of some building. Chauncey looks like he's having a difficult time with that. We see TJ show up at the house, and he tells them, you have to be ready at all times in this game. Okay. I'm sorry to say, guys, the Torden drama is going to continue. More happens on the next episode. We saw little flashes of that.
Okay. Great.
And then I wrote down that something happens in the zone. And in parentheses, I just wrote looked like some drama. There's something going on in the zone, which makes me wonder. The fact that TJ is showing up at the house unexpectedly for this next for this next episode, could something, a surprise competition be going on there? Like I said, it looks like there's some drama in the zone. Could there be some sort of purge or something? Maybe, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like maybe they are planning to accelerate the game. Maybe the twist ends next week or something. I don't know.
I mean, they've been using a lot of the same challenges as Australia was, so it could be one of those like middle of the night things like we saw happen, that like you have to be ready at all times, and they got thrown into a van and like they did that like dark, like in the middle of the night challenge. You know what I'm talking about?
Are we gonna go to that same little lake or whatever that they have to swim across in that ghost town thing with the tires?
I mean, they seem to have been doing a lot of the same challenges, so it wouldn't surprise me to see that again.
Yeah, that's
or a
probably what the
variation of
deal
it
is
at
gonna
least.
be.
Yeah.
I would love it if that ended in a purge, though. I really want to be at the eve of the finale. I really want to start wrapping things up.
It would be very interesting with TJ showing up. Oh, I guess that challenge, though, the daily challenge with the heights, it was on the side of some building, but it was nighttime.
It was nighttime. So
that could be it. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm excited, though. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah. I mean, I think that's all I got, really. Do you guys have any other thoughts? Anything else for the benefit of the community?
No mas.
No mas, eh?
I was looking up to see if there was a finale date listed, but there is not. So
I know, I've looked.
I do see. So here's what I'm seeing on this list here. The next episode is called Terrorist of Love, which I'm assuming means we're going to be focusing on Tori and Jordan. Terrorist is what Jordan called Tori a couple episodes ago. So that's January 11th. January 18th, the episode is called Not a Problem, but spelled KNOT. And then the last episode listed here, at least for now, is January 25th. And the episode is titled Friends or Froze. But that's the last on the challenge fandom, wiki page. That is the last episode that they've listed, which would be 16 episodes. Yeah, so maybe that could be our finale. Which if that is our finale, Friends or Froze on January 25th. If that's the finale, that would mean that we have 3 episodes left.
All right.
So
I could accept that.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I do have for the benefit of the community is not challenge related. It is a reminder that 1 week from today, we get a 10-episode drop of The Traitors. The Traitors US, starring our queen, Miss Rachel Riley, dropping on Peacock. 10-episode dump. Definitely working a half day. So I can get into this. Hosted by the incomparable Alan Cumming. Okay, so let's do it.
Awesome.
The Traitors.
Very exciting. It's really a great show. Gina, have you started watching the Australia?
I haven't yet. I haven't watched any yet.
What a loser.
Oh my God. Damn.
Oh, yeah, really that. Jeez.
Woof. Right out the gate, huh?
Yikes. Yikes. Happy New Year.
Call it like I see it, Call it like I see it.
Wow. And doubling down. That is really some way to sign off.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Oh no, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. But
I mean, did you even finish Australia?
I'm getting there. I'm close. Couple more episodes.
Still got UK to do. So you're not going to be wrapped up by the time America. You're not going to know all the things. You're not going to know all the things.
But alrighty. Anything else? We ready to wrap this baby up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, this has been another episode of Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. If you want to find us on the socials, I actually am realizing now that I forgot to do this at the beginning of the episode. But if you want to find us on the socials, you can do so at Strat Chat Pod. Check us out, on social media like Twitter and Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Or we have a website. Kyle worked very hard to make it nice and beautiful.
It hasn't been updated recently, so stop.
I'm sorry.
Well, don't tell them that, Kyle.
All they have to do is look, and they'll see it.
But yeah,
not really a secret.
If you want to go to our outdated website, you can do so at www.stratchatpod.com.
Yeah.
All right. Well, love you guys. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. And wait, what do we have coming up? Just a challenge next week, right? Thursday night, 9:30 p.m.
Challenge at 9:30. But the traders on the 16th.
Right.
Woo! Traders Monday the 16th. All right. 9:30.
All right. So long.